How do you see this one rolling a week from Sunday? What do you got for me here?
Well, we'll flip a coin.
Yeah,
and
right.
If it's heads, I'll pick San Francisco. If it's tails, I'll pick Kansas City. I have no idea. I mean, this is going to be a great game. I mean, it is so close. You got the great defensive line of the 49ers, and if they can affect Patrick Mahomes, who we've seen when they, kind of middle of the year, remember when the Chiefs' offensive line was beat up and they weren't healthy, and the offensive production went down because, you could get to him, you could affect him, and he's human. He's barely human, but if you get pressure on him and you hit him, it's going to slow that offense down. And the question is, can the Chiefs protect and hold up against that defensive line led by Nick Bosa, who's just a beast? And so it's going to be a lot of fun to watch and kind of see how this thing goes. And you got the track team for the Chiefs running around out there, scoring a bunch of points. And you have one of the best pass defenses in the NFL. So I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, and Damian Williams coming to the fore, getting healthy, and then having a focus placed on the run thanks to his effectiveness might change things. And you called the AFC Championship game for Westwood 1 last Sunday. And it did seem like Kansas City decided we're going to run the ball in the third quarter, and that opened things up for the pass in the fourth to lay the hammer down. I'm wondering what you saw with your own two eyes on that front.
Well, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, I think the key to that game, Rich, was that last drive at the end of the half, that 27-yard run by Mahomes with about, 15, 20 seconds left. Rashad Evans is spying Mahomes on that play. He has a chance to tackle him at the line of scrimmage. Probably hold him to a field goal, and you're going in tied. And that game, that changed everything. It almost was like all of a sudden you have the Titans who panic because for whatever reason, the guy who carried him to that position only got 3 carries in the second half. That's Derrick Henry. And then you look at the Chiefs, and they start controlling the clock. The very thing the Titans wanted to do, they were spreading out the Titans. The Titans were in coverage and trying to slow down Kelsey and Tyreek and the rest of that crew. And all of a sudden, Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid decide, hey, let's get Damian Williams a little inside-outside zone. And they did a great job of, shortening that second half and putting points on the board and making it really difficult for the Titans to get comfortable and do what they wanted to do, which is run it.
Do you think that could be employed against the Niners, or the Niners are just too much of a different animal?
Yeah, no, I think you can. I think you have to spread them out. I don't think you're going to – I mean, the Chiefs aren't built to get into, 12 personnel and big people where they just are going to run downhill on you. I mean, they set up their run with the pass game. And when Mahomes is the best. I mean, he is unbelievable. And what he allows you to do, if you're the Chiefs, because he extends plays and makes plays with his feet, he has a rocket right arm, you get everyone spread out. You're worried about the speed. And so you start doubling, you start playing zone, you're trying to keep everything in front of you, and next thing you know, you get a weak box, so you get 6 in the box instead of 7, you got a man for a man, and then Damian Williams is going. And I think that's what you'll see them try to do.
Tony Boselli here on the Rich Eisen Show. What about the 49ers offensively? We saw Garoppolo only swing his arm 8 times, and then Raheem Mostert did most of the damage. What do you think about the Niners offense against this Chiefs defense, which is going to be perhaps the least talked about key for Super Bowl 54?
Yeah, I think, go back to that division round when they were playing the Vikings and Garoppolo threw that pick. And I think the number is, I think I got this right. It's not right in front of me, but 17. He's only thrown 17 passes since he threw that pick.
Yep.
And you look at that second half, they ran the ball against the Vikings, and they come out. And I thought they were going to be able to dominate the Packers. I don't think they're a great run defense. They haven't been all year. They've been pretty average. And they did. And so I love Kyle Shanahan's approach because everyone tries to pigeonhole him as like, you're a zone scheme guy. You're an outside zone. You like to play action pass, naked bootlegs. You're going to do this or that. And he basically says, listen, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. And he has one of the most creative run games in the NFL. And they've won multiple ways. They've won running the ball. They're one of the best run teams in the NFL. They're physical up front. They've invested in the offensive line just like they have in the defensive line. But they have the ability also to open it up. You look at that Saints game, it was like, 50-48, something crazy. And they threw it all over the yard, and Garoppolo was the reason they beat the Saints late in the season. So they have the versatility, and I think that's due to the fact that Kyle Shanahan is one of the most creative offensive guys. I mean, you have two offensive staffs Kyle Shanahan, the 49ers, Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy for the Chiefs that are as creative in what they do. It's different, but they're just fascinating to watch. So it's going to be a great matchup. I think the key for the Chiefs is going to be Chris Jones. He was a big difference in that AFC Championship game. He missed the division game because of the calf strain he had. We didn't think he was going to play in that game, kind of based on the feel you got on the field pregame. But he came out, played limited snaps, but he was a big reason. He started clogging up when he started playing more second quarter, third quarter. He was a force, made it hard for them to run the ball, made it really difficult for the Titans. And he's one of the better defensive tackles, both in the run and the pass, led the Chiefs in sacks. So I think he's critical, and how the 49ers handle him. And so, we're all going to be fascinated by this 49er defense, Chiefs offense. And that's all the talk's going to be up going to the Super Bowl. But as you know, in these games, in these Super Bowl games, it's the unknown player. It's like which secondary player is going to step up. In this case, I think it's going to be on the two sides of the ball no one's talking about, Chiefs defense, 49ers offense, who can win that battle? Because we know the strengths, but these two units going at it, I think who gets the upper edge is going to go a long way in terms of the game.
Well, I have the actual number. After Garoppolo threw that interception against Minnesota, he has thrown the ball only 14 times.
14 times.
14,
yeah.
that's it. They ran it 28 of their final 34 non-kneel down snaps in the game against Minnesota. Yep. And then they did what they did against the Packers. And
it's like 1958 football.
It's amazing. It really is amazing. But I guess when you've got the horses up front, I mean, I imagine the linemen must love it, right? They must love it, right?
I love this team. So, number one, John Lynch is one of my really good friends. I've known him since college. We played against each other, worked out in college, and kind of going into our pro career. So I've known him forever. But here's a defensive back. And look how him and Kyle built this team. They've invested, and it started a couple years before even John got there, but they invested. They have 4 first-rounders that rotate through the defensive line. They paid D Ford a pass rusher. So they have this defensive line that can rush the passer and play the run. And I think they have 3 or 4 first-rounders on the offensive line. I mean, this is where you win the game. I'm convinced. I mean, you have to have the quarterback. And Mahomes is top, 1, 2. And Garoppolo's in the upper echelon. I mean, he's top 10 quarterback, top 12, right around there. So you have to have that guy. But after that, Rich, if you can't control the line of scrimmage, I think it's hard to win. And the teams that get this far, year in and year out, are the teams who can control the line of scrimmage. And I love that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan said, listen, we're going to invest in the big guys. And that's how we're going to win football games, and that's how they've done it all year.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.